Summer Camp Latrine Winterization video number 2. First step, shut off the water. Got to kill the water to the building. If the entire line has not been winterized or shut off yet, then you need to shut it off at the building. In this building here, that's the shut off valve. Boom. So shut that off. This is a low spot. You can see there's a low spot. You really got to pay attention to low spots when you're winterizing a building. That's a low spot when this is connected. This is the water feed in the building. So I disconnected it. That way everything can drain down and out of this low spot. Pay no attention to this line. That goes to another building. We're not worried about that today. The next step is to open up all the faucets. This building we have a hose bib or a silcock, whatever you want to call it. Open it up. Faucets, open them up. This building doesn't have hot water, but we'll open up the hot water side too, just to be sure. The other thing with this type of latrine sink faucet is that I have noticed that water gets trapped in here. So I like to remove this. There. You can see sometimes water gets stuck in there, and then you'll come in the spring and this sucker will be popped out and broken. So just remove it all together. Do that to all your sinks. This latrine only has 2. And then we're going to move to toilets. All right, toilets. First step, we're going to just flush them. Flush each toilet. 1, 2, 3. That's going to drop the water in the back of the tank down to the very bottom. There'll just be a little bit of water there, and you're flushing the rest of it down the toilet. The next step, we're going to disconnect the low points on all of these braided water lines or water lines that connect to the sinks and the toilets. You just want to assess those things and just make sure every little low spot that could potentially trap water and freeze in the wintertime is just disconnected and drained out. I'll show you. Each one of these sink water lines comes down and it kind of has a low spot. You can see water is right in here and it's kind of low. If you leave that connected, water is going to stay in there and freeze and potentially break our fitting or break the line someplace. So we're going to just open it up and let it drain. I'm just going to make a note here too. These braided water lines have a gasket inside. You don't need to crank. There's a little gasket in there. You really don't need to crank these down tight in the spring when you're reconnecting things. Hand tight most of the time doesn't leak. I just do hand tight and then one kind of quarter turn with a wrench or channel locks like I like to use, and you're good. You don't need to really ream on that, so don't. So do that to your sinks, and then we're going to do the same thing to the toilets. You see the loop that's created here. Obviously, this is a low spot, so water's going to get stuck in there, freeze, and wreak havoc. So we're going to just disconnect the same way as we do the sinks. And you'll see the amount of water that drips out of this that would have been trapped if we didn't. I had to flush the toilet one more time. Yeah, there's quite a bit out of this one. Do that to all your toilets, and then we're pretty much done with the water lines, but we still have to deal with the drain waste vent system. We'll winterize that next. Every plumbing fixture that is in your house or in a outbuilding like this that has water going to it are most likely going to be tied to your drain waste and vent system. That's everything that's draining out to your septic or leach field or city sewer. All of these parts of the system have P-traps, like at the bottom of the sink. Your shower will have a P-trap that's directly below it. And then there's actually a P-trap built within the toilets. So each one of these connections to your drain waste vent system need to be properly winterized, because you want to leave, in most cases, you want to leave water in them so that sewer gas doesn't back out into the building and stink it up. But since we're outside in this building and a little bit of sewer gas from this minuscule septic system coming back up isn't really going to be even noticeable. So I'm not too worried about it for the sinks. So I'm going to actually drain, get my finger in the right place. I'm going to drain the sinks on this one and add RV antifreeze to the toilets. But you could add RV antifreeze to the sink P-traps or shower P-trap as well. So let's move. So the reason I like to drain our sink P-traps here rather than adding antifreeze to them is because if somebody's in the camp that doesn't know that this is winterized, this building isn't locked here. You can walk in, you can take your water bottle or a cup and pour it into the sink. And so if we diluted the water in the P-trap with our RV and marine antifreeze, then that added water would dilute it too much and possibly freeze, and that would break our P-trap. So I like to just drain them out. That way we can't have that mistake. I also like to hide my caps right near where I took them off so that I don't forget where I put them and have to replace them in the spring. Quick note, the water that comes out of your P-trap is usually pretty nasty, so either use a wrench or a pair of gloves because it's pretty... Alright, sink P-traps are done. We don't have any showers in this building, so we're going to move on to the toilet. First step with the toilets is I just like to plunge as much water out of the toilet or through the drain as possible so that when I add antifreeze to it, it doesn't need as much in the toilet bowl. Like I said, there's a P-trap in here that we want to winterize where it can still have water in it, which will help prevent that sewer gas. This one doesn't have a lot of water in it. Keep that sewer gas from coming back up. If you suck this dry with like a vacuum, because some people will do that, they'll pull all the water out with a shop vac, then that allows the sewer gas to work its way back up and through. You might get a little bit too much smell out of that. So I like to use antifreeze. Again, use RV and marine antifreeze. Do not use regular vehicle antifreeze. And you're just going to dump enough in the bowl where it looks pink. If it looks like the same color in the bottle, you've probably got enough in there. If you read the directions, it'll probably tell you to put a specific amount in there. I don't worry about it too much. If you're worried, add a little extra, but don't waste it. Same with the back. It's about a cup, if I had to guess. You just want to have it filled, properly mixed where it looks like it's pink. You don't want to drain the back of the tank. I've said this in another video. You don't want to drain it because there's gaskets at the bolts that hold the tank in place. There's gaskets at the bottom of the flush valve, and there's at the water inlet valve, and gaskets on the flush valve. All of those tie to the bottom of the tank. If you let it dry out, sometimes they crack because they like to be wet. That's what she said. You don't want to let it dry out and have to replace those in the spring. So just add a little bit of antifreeze to the back of the tank. Next step is going to be cleaning up a bit. We're going to try to sweep out all these units, get rid of some of the cobwebs, close our windows, and get rid of any paper products that are left behind. The rodents love that stuff, so if you leave them out, they will get into it. They'll make nesting materials out of it. You'll find paper products all over the place. So take them, put them in a storage facility someplace. Don't leave them out in the latrine. Speaking of rodents, make sure your toilet bowl and tank are closed. If you leave them open, they will go for a swim to try to get a drink, and then they will die. You don't want them in the back of this tank. I've had to clean that up. It's pretty nasty. They die in the back. Their fur falls off. Their guts come out. It is disgusting. All right, almost there. Almost last step. Shut off the lights. Close your doors. We don't want people to go into these bathrooms now that they're winterized and leave us a present for next year, because that is equally as nasty. Just as bad as the rodents to get in the back. These doors don't have locks, so I got real scientific and I built a little makeshift door blocker. This basically just puts blocks into place so you can't spin the handle and open the door, and this just gets screwed into place. All right, that sums it up for these latrines. These are just tiny little latrines. Obviously, it's not going to be the same for every building, but this is what we got here at this camp in New Hampshire. So give me a like and a follow if you like it. Otherwise, see ya. Have a good one.